So we're brain dead today.
Hi guys.
Hi
Welcome back
girls,
to
welcome back to Hot and Bothered.
Okay. Sorry guys if you can
I'm
hear my
doing a
echo.
voiceover. Uh,
I'm Cedar Champ,
I'm Chris Bruno.
and on this podcast we
talk about everything.
everything that we find hot as fuck.
And everything that bothers the shit.
Absolute shit out of us.
See, she finishes my sentences for me.
We have no credentials, minimal life experience. Don't take our advice on anything.
Or anyone. Or
Anywhere.
any situation. Don't listen to us.
Don't.
We're two manic little sluts.
That's us. Chris and I are burning a candle from both ends.
Yes, I don't know what that means. That saying means.
It means
that I
burnout.
Can't. Yeah.
It means like that is the definition as to why your brain cannot conceptualize that.
That makes sense.
Whatever.
I love that. We're gorgeous today. We're having a good little weekend. We're finishing out strong, and here we are. What did you do this weekend?
Nothing.
Eat cookies.
Yeah. I was going to do things this weekend and then I didn't. And I instead had a friend over last night and we got really fucking high. Actually, like it was crazy. He told me he got these blunts somewhere in like, I think Venice or something, $4 a blunt. And he was like, that's a scam.
Is that a lot?
No, that's like so cheap.
I don't know anything about weed.
And he was like, this is like weird. Like, why are these like $4? He bought them. I took 2 baby because I'm really weird when it comes to smoking weed, and I'm like so careful because I already know that I'm a tweaker when I'm too high, and so I always really ease into it. Yeah, and I took 2 little baby hits off of this blunt, and I was really suspicious about it because it was a $4 blunt, and I have never been more.
A blunt or a joint? A blunt is wrapped in nicotine, right? Or in tobacco.
I don't know.
A blunt is wrapped in tobacco.
So which ones are the smaller ones?
Well, a joint is wrapped in paper and a blunt is wrapped in tobacco, I think. No, it's not, because that would be like a spliff. What is a blunt wrapped in? It's wrapped in like that brown shit.
You are asking me as though I have experience
I think there's a difference between the two.
Oh my God, okay.
A blunt is wrapped in something different.
What's the difference between a blunt and a joint? Blunts are hollowed out. Cigars are cigarillos. Joints are cannabis rolled in partially translucent paper.
So what I don't know what a cigarro is. Does that have something else in it?
No, it's just like the
brown.
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. It was whatever the ones are that are like, it's like cone shaped kind of.
I don't know.
That's a joint.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know. It doesn't
Me
matter.
either.
Okay, so
I just thought you would be like I feel
what?
Like blunts are like I was like, oh, okay, she's smoking a blunt.
I don't know. I clearly don't know the difference. So anyway, I don't know what I was smoking, but I was smoking weed. And it's a $4 blunt or joint, whatever the fuck we were smoking. And I'm like, okay, this isn't going to do anything. I took the tiniest, two tiny little hits.
And you were on the moon?
And I literally have never been more high in my life. And all I did was binge eat.
Slay.
And do you get like, when you get high, do you get twitchy?
I actually, a couple weeks ago, I have been obsessed with those Camino gummies to go to bed.
I don't know what that is.
They're a brand of gummies.
Like weed gummies? Yeah.
And I took 2 of them and I was laying in bed and legitimately I felt like Nicki Minaj. My fucking ass was vibrating, like twitching. I was like laying in bed, my whole body was like, but it was like coming from like my butt cheeks. And I was like, what the fuck is going, like I started laughing. I was like, why am I literally like epileptic right now? I was like, what is going on?
You were just like having a seizure in your bed.
Like my body was like popping.
Yeah.
Is that what was happening to you?
No, it's not like that. It usually comes from like my ankles or my wrists. For some reason, I get twitchy and I need to like move my ankles or my wrists, or I constantly feel the need to crack my toes where like you just bend them and they crack. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
That feels so good though.
I do that a lot when I'm high, and sometimes I'm so high that I can't tell if they need to crack or not.
And
so
then
I'm
you just keep
like
doing it.
Yes. Yeah. And it's not comfortable. And I don't understand people who like smoke weed and they're like, oh, I feel so relaxed and whatever.
It does the
I don't
polar
feel
opposite
relaxed.
to me.
I don't feel relaxed at all. I feel like a tweaker. I am so twitchy.
I can literally do any drug and it will have normal side effects on me, but marijuana is such a fucking hallucinogenic for me. I will
A
literally
hallucinogenic?
be laying in bed. I have been in bed high before and I have seen my bedroom door fly into a galaxy very far away. Like I have seen it literally expel away from my bedroom and I was in a
What?
black tunnel. It does shit to me. It's not normal.
I don't think I like that. I don't think
don't
I would
either.
enjoy that.
So on top of me twitching,
You were also like literally on Mars.
yes.
Yeah.
Weed does crazy shit to me.
That is very
doesn't make me
interesting.
calm.
No,
if I
it doesn't
take
make
one
me
of
calm
those,
at
it
all.
makes me calm, but I'm like, oh, I'm not high.
Also, like people who like smoke weed for pain management, I don't understand that either because when I smoke weed, I'm like, if my shoulders are tense, they're gonna feel 1,000 more times
And it's
tense.
like the only you're like fixated on
You
it.
can't think about anything
Yeah.
else. Like I need an elephant to come sit on my shoulders because I'm in so much pain right now.
Completely.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it.
And then you're paralyzed because you're like, I feel like if I move, my arm is gonna like dislocate or something.
Last night I actually thought I was gonna choke on my own tongue. I was so high. I was trying to eat and I was like, I can't swallow.
Okay. Okay. Sometimes when I'm high, I cannot eat food. I do not have the munchies because I'm like, my mouth is so fucking dry.
Yeah.
And my tongue is a fucking rock.
Yeah.
That like the thought of eating food sounds so disgusting and vile.
Yeah.
But then I discovered that you can eat cereal when you're high.
So good.
And it's like one of God's greatest gifts on
Yeah.
earth is eating cereal when you're high.
Do you ever find also that you don't taste food as well when you're high? Like you want to eat, but for some reason you can't really taste it?
I don't know, because I honestly feel like I don't really smoke weed enough or take these edibles enough. And if I do, I'm only eating cereal.
Yeah.
I don't really like get high to like enjoy the taste of food. So I don't know.
Yeah, I've just heard people say that food tastes better when you're high, but
Yeah,
for some
that's
reason
like-
when I'm eating when I'm high, I can't taste it as well.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it tastes better when I'm sober because I can't taste when I'm high.
You're like, my shoulder hurts. My taste buds aren't working. So
My
I don't-
toes need to crack.
Yeah, like I can't focus.
like why am
on-
I doing this?
But
Like why am I
really
smoking
do
weed?
admire people who can just smoke weed and be totally normal.
Yeah. I will say that like through different avenues of weed, I have different experiences. And so like, okay, so I smoked weed last night and like got high and I didn't really get tired. I just ate food and watched Scary Movie 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a dab pen that I keep next to my bed. And if I'm having trouble sleeping, I'll rip that 2-3 times and then I'm out like a fucking light.
Well, isn't it like a sativa or a fucking...
I think
what's the other
it
one?
definitely depends. For some reason, for me, it's always been mostly dependent on the avenue in which I'm intaking the THC.
But
and
there's
I
different
found-
types of weeds.
No, yeah, I know that. But you can have a sativa or an indica in a dab
Indica.
pen. You can have either or.
I know that, but you're saying like, oh, if I'm smoking the one that makes me hyper, but I'm smoking it through my dab pen, I'm gonna go to sleep.
Potentially. That's what
Okay.
I'm saying. Because if I take an edible, I'm like the same thing like when I smoke weed. I'm like twitchy. I'm kind of paranoid. Everything needs to crack. But then if I hit a dab pen, I'm just chill and like going to bed. I do get a
love
little
that.
twitchy, but like not. What are you laughing at?
I'm just thinking that I've never admitted my high twitches to people because
Because you didn't think it was normal. I actually was in a group FaceTime with my mom and my sisters for 3 hours today.
talking about
We
this.
talked about this, and my sister asked that question, and I was like, yes.
That's
like-
so interesting. But when it was happening to me, I was like, am I doing this or is it my muscles that are doing it uncontrollably? I was trying to like monitor what was happening and I couldn't figure it out because I would start thinking about something else while I was waiting to twitch.
Yeah.
And then I would start twitching again.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some scientific thing
I'm going
behind
to be
it.
Googling all night tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. After you take your edibles.
I don't have any left and I want to get some more, but another one of my biggest fears is walking into a dispensary.
Why?
It's like, I don't speak that language.
They're like kind of mean and intimidating.
Yeah.
The mushroom store in Venice, they're weird. Like if you try to talk to them and try to get a better understanding of what you should be buying, they're like mean to you.
You don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, literally. And
That's
it's like,
rude.
okay, I don't know what
Like
I'm doing,
like
so help
educate me,
me.
you fucking rude
Yeah, shouldn't you guys
rat.
like be excited and passionate about this? It's like when weed first became legalized and in every dispensary, they were like so fucking excited to
They're like,
like
do you want blueberry hibiscus? Like this one's gonna do
it's gonna
this
make
and
you feel
this.
this way.
Yeah.
And yeah, and they would totally give you the lowdown and like guide you
I
through
want to
like
go to a mushroom store in Venice.
they're mean. You want to go to get bullied?
Oh, I forgot about that already. No. Is it
Brain
cute? Is it like a
dead.
vibe in there?
No.
It's like a shack.
Yeah. And okay, the thing about selling mushrooms is really weird and it's kind of how weed used to be, I feel like. Because
Mm-hmm.
there's this mushroom store in Venice, but it's not legal to sell psilocybin. And so they sell all of these products, but none of them are labeled really. You can't tell exactly what they are. They just say like mushroom blend or whatever. And you're like, okay, am I eating fucking portobellos in this chocolate? Or like, what is this?
Yeah.
But you get high. So it's like, I don't really know if I care what it is.
I took a
So
mushroom chocolate when I came home last night and I was
zooted.
so nauseous.
Do you want to talk about what you did last night? I didn't ask you what you did this weekend.
Well, it kind of segues into my topic.
Chris, are you hot or bothered?
God, I haven't been able to tell lately if I'm hot or bothered, but I think I'm gonna go with hot this week.
Okay, slay.
Well, okay, so what did I do this weekend? Friday I did nothing. I like worked all day and then I came home and oh no, I did, like ran a bunch of errands at night. It was kind of fun.
I love that.
And then
Nighttime weekend errands are a slay.
yeah, I was literally at Whole Foods. There was not a soul in sight and I
Love
was like,
it.
"Oh, this is fucking amazing." It was like
Absolutely
giving
beautiful.
COVID vibes. And then Saturday morning I went and got breakfast with my ex-boyfriend.
Slay.
That was fun.
Jealous.
And then didn't do anything all fucking day. Was a vegetable. No, I did a bunch of stuff. What the fuck am I saying? No one cares. And then that night I went to my friend's husband's birthday. And this is where my topic comes into play. Like, I feel like I've been identifying lately. Well, not identifying, but I need to like acknowledge that I have terrible social anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like my social anxiety is like before I get to the destination.
Mm-hmm.
I was driving to this party and I was like, I'm so anxious. I'm so fucking anxious. I don't know anyone here. And I like wasn't really drinking based off of my experience from last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm going into this party like sober. I don't know fucking anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like literally had crippling anxiety while I was driving there. And then I was thinking about it and I was like, I just get so anxious every single time before I go out or before I, literally do anything. But I've been trying to be more social lately because I need to get the fuck out of my house and I need to like get out of my little shell that I'm confining myself to.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get to this party and I'm having so much fun. I'm talking to everybody, literally anybody and everybody. I'm introducing myself to everyone. But it's like, what the fuck else am I gonna do
Yeah.
at a party? Am I
Like
gonna be
sit in
like,
the corner and
yeah,
be
and
weird.
be like silent and weird? And then my friend, whose husband's birthday it was, me and her don't really hang out that much outside of, we work out together, but we don't really hang out in big groups of people. Or this was the first time we've actually like really hung out. And she was like, oh my God, you are so social. And I was like, one, am I? Two, I was like, not insulted that she said that, but I was just like, that's an interesting observation. But I was also like, maybe because I have manners, I'm not going to not say hi to someone or like shake someone's hand. I'm like, I
Yeah.
need to introduce myself to everybody around me
Yeah.
to set the vibe, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was just talking to everybody. But it's like when I'm talking to these people, I'm like, okay, what question am I going to ask them next?
Right.
Are they enjoying this conversation? Do I sound like a fucking moron?
Mm-hmm.
What is going on? So I'm like, that is social anxiety.
Right. Where you're like in the middle of the conversation, you're like scrambling in your head, like, what are we going to talk about next if this
But
conversation
it's like
dies
only
out?
in my head. And then I'm talking like a completely normal person. And
It
then
just
I'm like,
flows.
yeah. And then I'm like asking questions that I'm like, they're not premeditated questions. It's
Yeah.
just a normal flowing conversation.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why do I even have this blanket of anxiety over me when I go
Mhm.
into situations like this? Because I'm actually completely normal and know how to talk to anybody and everybody. But it
Mhm.
was really funny because this other girl that I know from the gym, I sound like one of those weird fucking hit class cult people that's like,
You're
I'm
like a
hanging out with my,
CrossFit queen.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
like, but no, we're not like that.
You hanging out with
I
your
know
gym
this girl because we
friends.
used to work in the same industry back in the day, and then we ran into each other at the gym, and so
Yeah.
we like do classes together. And then her
Mhm.
other friend comes. So me and her other friend left at the same time. Also, I was sober this entire time. So me and her other friend left at the same time. And me and her have never really like never hung out outside of doing a workout class together.
Mhm.
And she was making me laugh because she seems like a little bit of an introvert, but she's hilarious. Not maybe not even an introvert, but what she did say, she's like, I feel like you're kind of like me, like you don't really like talk to people unless they speak to you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I totally understand that because I feel like I'm not one of those people. I really wish that I could be one of those people. Like, I have friends who are like so nice to everybody and they can strike up a conversation with anybody in the fucking grocery store or they're like, chat with somebody on the street. I'm like, don't fucking talk to me. Don't look at me. Like, I cannot have a conversation with anybody. But I've always admired people who can literally strike up a conversation with any stranger anywhere. I'm just not that kind of person. And me and her were talking about this. She's like, yeah, I don't talk to people unless I'm spoken to. But I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this social setting is a little different than when you're out in public.
Mhm.
But I was thinking about it and I was telling her, I feel like people think I'm extremely unapproachable because I just don't make eye contact. I probably have a bad look on my face
Yeah.
and I just don't really like fuck with anyone. Because I think everyone's like me. I think that nobody wants to be talked to because I don't want to
Mhm.
be talked to.
Yeah.
But like I go to the gym in the morning and I see the same people every morning and I don't talk to anybody
Mhm.
besides the two girls that I know and some people that work there.
I feel that way about my yoga classes and stuff where like they're all like a little community and then I'm constantly there, but like I'm never speaking to
Yeah,
anybody.
you don't want to talk to anyone. And it's
Yeah.
like, so I walk in the other day and obviously I wear like all black to the gym every single day. And I walked in and I was in a white tank top with pink shorts. And this guy looked at me and he was like, oh my God, you're so colorful today. And I was like half asleep, filled up my water bottle, and I said something like gay. I was like, yeah, my cute little pink short shorts. Like, I was like, I probably like blew this guy's mind. He probably thought I was going to be like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he
Yeah.
probably thought that I was just going to be like, okay.
And
Or
then
like,
you snapping back with like your like cunty little gay
yeah,
attitude and you're like, yeah, my cute
And
little
he
pink
was,
short shorts.
and he just like looked at me and I was like, what do you want me to say? Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
I will talk if I'm spoken to, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk to you.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out, maybe I just won't identify as someone with social anxiety.
I feel like I'm kind of that same way too. For me, it depends on the day when I'm out in public doing my thing out and about, like at the grocery store, like whatever the fuck I'm doing. It really depends on the day in terms of if I'm going to strike up a conversation with a stranger. As there are some days where I go out in public and I'm like, no one fucking perceive me. Do not look at me. Like, do
Mm-hmm.
not speak to me. I don't want anything to do with any of that. And then there are some days where I'm at the grocery store and I'm having a glorious day and I'm
Mm-hmm.
perusing the aisles and I see somebody looking for the same thing that I'm looking for. And then I strike up and then we're chit
Mm-hmm.
chatting, you know. And I don't know, it's really weird because it really just depends on the day. But something I've been wanting to be more mindful of, I feel like I'm too in my head most of the time. And so
Mm-hmm.
I will admit, like, I am very weird in social settings because I'm constantly overthinking everything. And what's this person thinking, feeling, doing, saying? And then how am I going to respond and react to that?
Yeah.
Whatever. And so I'm the type of person also where same thing. I'm really good at conversation with people where I'm constantly thinking in my head, like, oh, fuck, what am I going to ask next? And then the conversation just keeps flowing. But I don't ever really go out of my way to approach people and introduce myself to them. And that's something I want to work on and be better at. Cause, like, I remember at my last job, it was one of my coworkers' first day, and she's like literally a ball of fucking sunshine. That woman has more light and energy in her than I've ever witnessed in another person. Her and I could not be more opposite. And I watched her walk up to somebody and say, hi, I'm so and so, and shake their hand.
And you were like, what?
I'm like, okay. I never would do something like that because I'm paranoid. First of all, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, who is that person? Second of all, I'm like, are they relevant to me? Third, I'm like, are they someone important and I should know who they are? And am I going to look like a fucking idiot if I go introduce myself to
Mm.
them? You know what I'm saying? So I'm never doing that unless someone like takes me and introduces me to them. Or my favorite way to like meet new people is by striking up casual conversation. Like if I'm in a group setting and there's a mutual friend there that I've never met before, instead of me being like, hi, I'm Cedar, like, what's your name? I will just be like,
Okay, well, this isn't like a third grade icebreaker.
no, but some people are really good at like introducing themselves and introducing other people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I'm just, for some reason, that's something that I really overthink. And so instead of just introducing myself, I'll literally just start talking to them and then just like build a conversation off of that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
where are you from? What do you do? And then never even ask their name. I did that thing the other day. I had this full conversation with this girl. I knew everything about her. I know where she lives. I know what she does for work, what she does in her free time. I know everything about her. Never got her name.
I love that. I have 2 points. One of them being I also sometimes have days where I'm like, okay, I'm going to actively put an effort and energy into like being nice to random strangers.
We've talked about
Yeah.
this.
Have we talked about this on here
No, no,
before?
no, no, no.
And there are days where I'm like, okay, I'm going to try and make more of an effort to be approachable and to like give someone a compliment or like just be nice to somebody or do something. And it's so fucking heartbreaking when someone is a vile fucking cunt back to you. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, I have no fucking faith in humanity again
Mm-hmm.
because like I'm trying. Because sometimes it comes naturally to most people like that. But if you're someone like us who is incapable of things like that, and you're putting an effort and energy into
Putting yourself out there and
just
like,
being like nice to random people and like conversing with random people.
and then you're just shut down.
Yeah, and then you're just fucking completely shut down. I'm like, okay, you're disgusting, and
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. Like, we'll circle back on this in a week and
Yeah.
see how we feel and if we want to put this energy out there. Also, I don't have a problem introducing myself to people who I don't know what their stature of
Mm-hmm.
success is and where it lies in relation to mine.
Right.
Like, I think it's extremely, like, it's kind of
It's a
fun
power
to,
move.
it is. And it's like fun to kind of humble people. I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know who you are
Yeah.
or what you're doing. I also had a conversation with the girl about this last night who was talking about all these Oscars parties she was going to. She was fully delusional. She was like, I don't care about like who you are and what you, she was saying it in like a weird way, but I was also like being
You do
normal and
care.
and having an exactly. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
you do care, but I was trying to have a conversation with her, and I was like, yeah, like I'm the same way. I don't give a shit. I'm like, there are random people that I would be like starstruck by,
Yeah.
but like I feel like I work with a lot of very powerful people,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't fucking know who any of them are
Yeah.
ever, like
Yeah.
ever. For example, I was like at a house with this lady who's like the creative director and CEO of like literally one of the biggest jewelry brands in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea who she was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, we were talking and we were talking about the house. And I was like, oh, are you Italian? She's like, yeah, I'm Italian. And she was like, are you Italian? So me and her were just having a conversation about being Italian and our families and our culture and whatever. And I leave and I go back to like my office and someone's like, oh, that's so and so who's the creative director of whatever. And I was like,
Okay.
yeah, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm the creative director of my life.
Yeah.
So what does that have to do with me? Like,
Yeah.
we are the same fucking person.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like people like that, it's like they just want to be talked to like a normal person.
I completely agree.
So,
I'm also that way when it comes to people who are of that stature.
mhm.
When I was making that reference, I was talking more in terms of like a corporate workplace, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Completely, but I don't
Okay.
live in that world and that
Okay.
gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where I thought you were going with that, given the context of the conversation.
But I've also been the same way when it comes to like, especially my last job, we shared an office building with a lot of things and people and whatever. And I would meet a lot of celebrities in the elevator. I'm like, I actually don't really care who you are or what you're doing. And I think people really appreciate that because they're probably
Mhm.
very exhausted by like people caring.
And they're just normal.
And they're normal. Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
very
yeah.
normal people. So yeah, I completely agree with that. I actually, outside of a workplace scenario, when it comes to corporate America, I actually don't give a fuck what anyone else is doing, and I
Mhm.
am just one of you,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're
yeah,
just one of
for
me.
sure.
That's not a big.
I think it's fun to humble people.
I think so too, and I don't do it just to like humble
No, no,
people,
no.
but I do it.
I
It's
don't
more of like a
either.
me thing where I'm like, I
They
just
don't
don't
know who I
care.
am. I don't know
Yeah,
who you are. I
yeah.
could be the CEO of Amazon.
It's definitely an ego thing too, because I'm personally in my own head, I'm like, oh, I'm cooler because I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Completely.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to know what we were talking about in terms of putting ourselves out there and then kind of getting shut down when it comes to like social settings and scenarios. But I decided I'm going to make more of an effort to make more girlfriends. Because I was thinking about this the other day and I was laughing to myself. And I texted you this too, where I was like, all of my friends are gay men. All of your friends are straight women. Like,
We need to combine the two.
yeah. I don't have any girlfriends. Like, I have a few, but none of them live in the same city as me. I do have a couple girlfriends in LA, but like, I don't have a lot of girlfriends. And I have always wanted to have more girlfriends, but I feel like I need to start putting in more of an active effort to make more girlfriends. And that's been top of the brain recently. And so there was an opportunity where there are some girls that I know through mutual connections, and we have a lot of similar interests and like things in common. There's so many similarities, and there's a lot of opportunity for me to connect with these people, but they're like not open to it. And I don't know if at first I was kind of okay, like Cedar, that's you. That's your insecurities speaking. No one has said anything otherwise to make you feel that these people don't want to connect or get to know you or whatever. But then, kind of as things went on, it became more apparent that these women actually want nothing to do with me and do not care to have a friendship or relationship with me in any capacity. And so it's like,
Why do you think that? Because they're like petty and they like their little circle, or do you think that
mhm.
they have something against you?
No, it's that. It's
Yeah,
because they're
I
petty.
feel like
And I don't want to like toot my own horn, but I do think a lot of it is, especially because like there are very hot women and I'm a hot woman. And I think it's like when it's like two powerful forces, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And so it's like everyone's a little intimidated by everyone else.
yeah.
And so it just creates a really weird dynamic. All I can do is be nice and put myself out there. But if it's not reciprocated, you know, like
There's
I'm
no
not going to
point.
keep trying.
Yeah.
And I asked a mutual friend, I was like, oh, I feel like this person doesn't really like me. And he got really weird and like didn't know really how to respond to that. And I was like, okay, I get it. But it's frustrating because it's like, I'm like trying to put myself out there and like be a normal human being. Like it's weird for me to not have any girlfriends. I just don't
Yeah.
have any girlfriends. And so I've spent years trying to figure out like what is wrong with me and why I can't have like female relationships. But here we are. And still to this day, all my fucking friends are gay men. So
That's gonna be like me trying to find gay friends. Remember when I had that stint and I ended up
you
hating
were over
all of
that very
them, and
quickly.
yeah, one fell in love with me, and I thought that they were all completely psychotic.
Yeah.
But I do feel like groups of girls are hard. It's hard to break into that. I'm happy that I'm not a girl.
But like so many girls do it. And I'm like, also because I grew up in a family of mostly women, it shouldn't be that hard for me. But for some reason it is. But I also think I'm like very weird and I think I'm slightly autistic. So I think that probably plays part into it.
1,000%.
I don't think that that sentence was English, but
Because you're autistic.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
I would
I'm
be
like,
afraid if I was a girl trying to enter a group of girls, I would find that challenging.
yeah. And I thought it would be easy too, especially because we have a lot of gay friends as mutual connections and it's just not proven to be that way. So I don't know. What do I do except for let go and let God?
Exactly.
So anyway, yeah, I don't know. And like it's frustrating too because I'm a girl's girl. And like I love women. I care for women. I have incredible relationships with women. I am a girl's girl at the end of the day, but I can't make girlfriends.
They're jealous of you.
Speaking of being a girl's girl, I wanted to talk about Ariana Grande and her new album. Have you listened?
Obviously.
You have? Do you like it?
Obviously.
You like it?
Yes.
I don't know where you stand on her, so I don't know.
I love her.
Okay.
I love her to death.
How do we feel about her being a homewrecker?
It doesn't affect me. I don't care. I like her music. I don't care who she fucks.
Okay, slide.
Zero effect.
Which
on
is
me.
literally like what was that song called?
Yes, and
Yes, yeah, that's
yeah.
literally what that fucking song was about.
So good. What's your favorite song from that album?
I do like Eternal Sunshine.
Me too. That's my favorite.
I almost cried to that when I was driving home from work tonight.
That's cute. I'm gonna listen to it when I get in the car. What do you care that she fucks someone, or should I ask you if you're hot or bothered?
Yeah.
Are you hot or are you bothered this week? Are you hot or are you bothered this week?
The way you were looking down and then you go,
It's an intense question.
I'm hot this week. I am hot
Slay,
this
we're
week
both hot
because
this week.
I know, right? And it's in the name of personal growth and development. I don't care who she fucks. I absolutely do not care who she fucks. But also, okay, let's keep in mind she's a celebrity, so we actually don't really know what happened. That man's marriage could have been a mess. They could have
Was
been.
that really ugly little nerd she was fucking?
Yeah, the one that played SpongeBob.
That's so weird.
Yeah. I had this conversation with somebody the other day and I was like, everyone was so surprised that she's fucking some ugly guy. And it's like, when has she ever fucked somebody that's like conventionally attractive?
That's true.
Her ex-husband is okay, but her new man is ugly. Pete Davidson is not conventionally attractive. Mac Miller wasn't conventionally
May
attractive.
he rest in peace.
Exactly. Big Sean, he was like the hottest guy she's ever been with,
That's
but it's
true.
all been like kind of a
Mhm.
steady decline from there. She
I
likes an
forgot
ugly
about her and
guy, and
Big
there's
Sean.
nothing wrong with that.
No, that's like you.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So anyway, I'm hot this week because, well, first of all, we don't know the full picture there. So it's none of our business, really. It does not affect us. It doesn't matter to us. But if it is true,
The media
if
is
she
portraying
did.
this false narrative on Ariana Grande.
Yeah. No. If it is true, if she was a homewrecker, that sucks for her. But I do also like to be conscious of the fact that I've actually had a lot of conversations with women. Meanwhile, I just said I don't have any girlfriends, but a lot of women have been in situations where they've been the other woman and they'll admit it, but very shamefully. And it kind of takes a lot to like bring them to admit it.
Yeah, in the first place.
Yeah. And there are a lot of stories, obviously, where girls are like the other woman and they never knew. But there are situations in which you have been the other woman and you were fully aware. Me personally, absolutely, I have. I think a lot of people have, but don't really want to admit it because, like, yeah, we're ashamed of it. Like, that's a shitty thing to do to somebody else, especially if you've been cheated on before and you know what it feels like. But I'm hot this week, I guess, in terms of like personal growth and development, because I've definitely been the other woman. And after like a lot of work on myself and through therapy and whatever, I realized the reason I was doing it was kind of as a way to prove to myself that someone would choose me over whoever else or whatever else. Like, I wanted to be chosen. And when I was much younger, there was a lot of different scenarios. I mean, not a lot of, there were a couple where a big driving factor, which I wasn't able to acknowledge at the time, but a big driving factor for my interest in another person was because they were kind of unavailable. And like, it was the chase of having somebody choose you. And so, like, for example, there was this guy I hooked up with many years ago. I was much younger, and he had a girlfriend.
Much younger again.
Okay. I'm trying not to get fucking dragged for this. Yeah, okay. So there was like this one guy and he just recently got into a relationship, but like me trying to justify it at the time, I was like, they don't even live in the same city. She's so much younger than him. Like, there's no way this is going to last, whatever. He and I had known each other for like a little while and there was always some weird sexual tension between us. And then after he got into a relationship, like a few weeks later, we were all out and I ended up finally hooking up with him. He had wanted to hook up with me for forever, but I never did it until he got into a relationship, which is just the most disgusting and vile thing I've ever done. But he resurfaced recently, actually. One of my friends was talking about him and I literally admitted out loud for the first time. I acknowledge and accept that I only hooked up with him to prove to myself that he would risk his relationship to have me, if even just momentarily, you know what I'm saying? Which is like just an awful thing to do and I hate myself for that. So like, yeah, I've definitely been like a homewrecker in that situation before, but I think what is most important is growth and development. So like now I am
comfortable with who you are and don't need that validation.
Yes, but I think also a big part of it too is like when a guy is acting slimy like that,
it's a turnoff.
It's a turnoff.
Yeah.
Because I respect myself more because of that. My boundaries with men have changed and evolved and I've gotten stronger. And so when there's a guy acting like gross or weird like that, instead of me being like, oh my God, he must really like me because he's willing to like risk this for me.
You're like, you're a fucking sleazeball.
Instead, I'm like, you're actually fucking vile. You're a horrible person. Stay so fucking far away from me. And
go, like,
I hope your fucking girlfriend goes through your phone tonight.
Yeah.
You're disgusting and horrible. But then also in a really weird way, I used to be the kind of girl where like a guy would do something like that and I would immediately go tell his girlfriend. But I don't do that anymore.
Okay, so you went from like, sure, I'll hook up with you because it'll make me feel good, to no,
I won't hook up with you.
No, I won't hook up with you and I'm telling your girlfriend, to now what?
No, at first it was like, yeah, I don't know. I guess That makes
I mean, it
sense.
doesn't have to be that like we don't need a time fucking stamp of it. But so why wouldn't you tell someone's girlfriend now? Or do you?
It would really depend on the situation, but I wouldn't tell somebody's girlfriend because a lot of girls know when they're with cheaters and they know
Yeah.
when they're with shitty men. They know it. And by involving yourself, oh my God, it is so ugly and so messy
And unnecessary
and
for
so
you to
unnecessary.
like
And I'm like, I'm
carry
gonna
that
protect my
weight.
peace. I'm gonna put a wall up. I'm not gonna be touching your boyfriend. He can't even fucking come near me. He's disgusting and vile. And I hope he seeks therapy, which he won't. But also, I'm not gonna go out of my way to like inform that person. There have been scenarios where like I've related to a mutual friend, if it's possible or whatever,
Mhm.
where like, yeah, like so and so's boyfriend like said this to me, and I thought that was like a little weird, but I don't know if
Mhm.
I'm reading into it.
Yeah,
Just so like
getting like a
someone is
second
informed,
opinion.
but I'm never gonna like go out of my way and seek out a person that I don't know to be like, hey, girl, like by the way, have you ever
Yeah.
seen the posts on the internet of the girls that are like, oh my God, receiving like a message request and it starts with, hey, girl, like I know you don't
Yeah.
know me,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
most gut-wrenching message you can ever receive in your life, and we've all received a million of them. But yeah, I'm not going to be that girl because I'm also not going to entertain your boyfriend, so
Yeah, like
that's
it
not
wasn't
my
even a thought in my
problem.
head, so it
Yeah.
doesn't exist in my life, and I'm not gonna act like it does and involve
Mhm.
myself in this equation.
Yeah. I feel like I could have elaborated on my like progression of growth there, but moral of the story is I once was a home wrecker, am not anymore, and wish to never be again because like absolutely disgusting behavior and so vile. Obviously, the woman isn't solely to be held responsible because men are just disgusting, but I don't need to elaborate on that further because we all know how I feel about men. But as a reformed home wrecker, I think we should give Ariana Grande a little bit more grace because that bitch obviously needs a little bit of therapy if she's actually home wrecking in that way. But then again, we don't know the whole story.
We don't know the whole story, and I'm sure he would pick Ariana Grande over whoever he's married to.
Yeah.
You know?
The mother of his child. Yeah.
You snooze, you lose.
I probably would pick Ariana Grande
Yeah, if
over.
Ariana
Yeah.
comes knocking, you know what you have to do. It's non-negotiable. The wife may have been like, "Babe, go do it. Come on."
Potentially, yeah.
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 She's like, "Let's get famous. Let's do it."
Honestly, maybe.
That's the truth.
That's the truth.
We saw-
Spreading rumors on the internet. I'm
and that's the truth.
messaging Dumois tonight.
And that's the truth. Like, yeah.
You heard it here first. Anyway, no,
Oh.
I'm hot this week because of growth and development, and also everyone say a prayer for Ariana.
I don't think I've ever been a home wrecker.
Ever in your life?
No.
Well, that's because most wait, I
Gays
saw this.
are in an
Most
open
gays-
relationship.
yes.
Yeah.
Did you see the post the other day that was like, we legalized gay marriage just for gays to be in open relationships?
No, but that's really fucking good. That's
it's
really good.
so good.
Would you ever be in an open relationship?
That was actually part of my progression from like being a home wrecker to being anti-home wrecking is like I did try to take the ethical route for a little while too, because I reached a point where I was like absolutely not, and then I heard of ethical non-monogamy and like started dating a guy that was in an open marriage and took that route, which didn't end up being as
Like, where do
ideal
you
as it
find these
sounds.
people? Does it just happen naturally? Or are you like on a website that's
I'm not talking about
open
this.
monogamy, like ethical non-monogamy open relationship sidechick.com? Like, log in. Like, what?
It's actually called Ashley Madison. Have you heard of it?
Don't get me started on Ashley Madison.
I'm kidding. No, but yeah, so I tried to take that route and then that didn't work. And then I finally was like, well, no, actually, it took a little bit more trial and error. But then I was like, men who can't be satisfied in their relationships and or be mature enough to say, oh, I'm not satisfied in my relationship.
Aren't going to be satisfied.
I should end the relationship
Yeah.
before I ruin somebody's
And
life.
they're also not going to be satisfied with you if they're not. They're never going to be satisfied.
They're never going to be satisfied. And
Yeah.
I don't have the energy or
to try and satisfy someone.
no.
Fuck that.
Would I ever be in an open relationship? I don't know.
You're like, no. I don't know.
I don't know. Would you? We've talked about this.
I feel like I have to be at some point in my life as a gay man, but I don't think that I would start off a relationship in an open situation.
You strike me as somebody that would be good in an open relationship just because of your lack of ability to give a fuck. I feel like you would just be like, okay.
I just feel like it would cause issues that are unneeded. Like, I feel like it would cause
It just invites a lot more drama.
Exactly. It invites a lot more issues. It invites a lot more opportunity for me to lie about things, as well as my partner. Like, I don't know. I feel like
Chris
like,
can't be tempted to
it's
lie
like
because he will.
it's like opening a can of worms, you know? It's just, I don't want to add that messiness into my peaceful, miserable relationship. Like, let it just be miserable
On
between
its
us
own.
two.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need
Let's
to
keep
worry
the
about
misery
somebody
isolated.
else.
Let's
Yeah.
not drag third parties into
Oh
this
my
misery.
God. Do you know what I fucking saw the other day on TikTok?
Tell
Or
me.
what was it? Was it on TikTok? I don't know. But like, okay, I've been seeing a lot of, well, I follow HRH Collection. We all know I'm a huge fan of her. But she's posting like the Barbies and the wheelchairs, and because she's like shopping for her, she's pregnant, she's shopping for her baby.
Yeah.
And she's like posting like the they them like baby clothes, and she's
Yeah.
posting like the Barbies with vitiligo and the Barbies in the wheelchair. And I'm like, I'm just like, it's getting a little out of hand. I will admit that.
Yeah.
I don't care who disagrees with me, but I'm like, some things are getting a little out of hand. But beyond gender and like disabled Barbies, like this fucking TikTok was a throuple on HGTV house hunting. Literally, it was a white couple. It was like, hi, I'm Todd and I'm a radio science engineer. And then she was like, hi, I'm Janet and I'm a stay-at-home mom. And then they panned over to this Latina lady and she was like, hi, I'm da-da-da-da and we're in a throuple. And I was like, the fact that we're like publicizing a throuple on HGTV is just like so fucking weird to me.
That is so interesting.
I'm like, the demographic of people who watch HGTV probably do not align with those people's morals. I'm like, what are your ratings looking like now that you're advertising thruples on House Hunters?
Right.
Like, that was so fucking, I mean, I laughed out loud. I was like, these people are fucking.
I would watch that. That sounds interesting. I would be so down to watch
the drama
that episode.
between them.
Yes.
We should watch that one night. The
That's
drama
absolutely.
between the three of them. Like,
I'm so
imagine
down
the
for
third one.
that.
She's like, I actually don't like this master bedroom. Like,
yeah. And they're like, okay, well, you're hardly part of this relationship.
Yeah, they're like, you're the new one, so fuck off. Like, they
so
probably
you don't really
bully
get
her.
as much of a say.
Yeah. Imagine.
That would be so good.
Oh my God.
I mean, as you know, like any dynamic of three, aka both of us like being from families of three siblings,
Yeah.
like it gets complicated, and there is someone gets left out every once in a while.
Out. Yeah.
So maybe it should be a
quadruple.
Yeah, whatever that would be.
A quadruple.
A quadruple, yeah.
That would be cute.
Anyway, my hot take on that is that in terms of seeing Barbies in wheelchairs and shit, I don't give a fuck. But I'm like, okay, I see.
I just like
I'm
wouldn't buy
it's
that for my
not-
kid.
No, I don't think I would either. But it's also not for people like us either. It's for people who have children that are in wheelchairs. I don't know.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, because it's
okay, now I feel bad.
I've seen like videos of children who are like seeing somebody that looks like them portrayed in the media
oh my God,
or
now
whatever
I feel like a fucking asshole.
for the first time, and they're like, oh my God, that person looks like me, and it's life-changing for them. So if that affects them that way, then I'm so happy for you. So it really doesn't faze me in any way, shape, or form, except for the other day I was in Target and the advertisement, you know, they have the big print offs of the people wearing the clothes and stuff.
No.
And it was a kid, like a little girl with a bionic leg, and I was like, that was a little jarring.
You're like, I don't want to think about what this girl went through to get her bionic leg while I'm trying to like buy detergent.
Yeah, I'm literally there getting milk for my coffee. I'm stepping in and stepping out, and then I'm like braced with the reality of
that's
little
really
girl with her
intense.
bionic leg. It was really intense. And I was like,
Target does a lot
Christ.
of wild shit. Target does a lot of wild shit.
Yeah, Target.
Some of those mannequins are bigger than the store. Have you seen some of those mannequins? I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah. I mean, Target's progressive. They were the first ones to be like, we don't fucking care what gender uses whatever restroom.
Really?
And I respect them for that. Yeah, I remember because I think I was still living in Minnesota and people were like boycotting. We have one Target 30 miles away from my hometown. There's a Target and a Walmart in that town that's 30 miles away. And like so many people stopped going to Target because of it. And I was like, I like actually don't give a fuck. I will still be
Like
going to
I
Target.
will take a shit
'Cause
anywhere.
I need to
don't
go
give
get
a
my
fuck.
Starbucks. I
Yeah.
need to go walk through the fucking shoe aisle and
Mhm.
check out the new swimsuits that they got in and then see what throw pillows they have. Like
And
I
see what
actually don't
Bionics
fucking
are
care what bathroom
on
is
the
happening.
billboards.
Exactly.
Like I need to check out the Bionics.
Exactly. Yeah, but no, Target's progressive as fuck.
We love that. I feel bad about the Barbies.
Anyway,
Yeah.
thanks for listening this week.
We're like, thanks.
We're like, thanks, but also sorry.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, we're like, okay, we'll see what
yeah, we
this
don't
brings
know about that
us.
one. What's their homework this week? Go smoke a joint or a blunt, whichever you prefer.
And vibrate in
and-
bed.
Yeah, twerk
Yeah.
in bed.
Literally twerk in bed.
What else do they need to do? What was your
Don't have
topic?
social anxiety. Go talk to people. Go say hi to a stranger.
Be nice to a stranger in the grocery store. Chris and I have had a conversation where we're like, we need to make an active effort together to be nice to strangers.
You know what I do that's psychotic?
What?
Sometimes.
What?
Like if I'm driving, I just start smiling. Do you ever see like those cute old ladies that are just smiling
Yeah,
while they're driving? And they're so
yeah.
cute and happy.
Yeah.
And like smiling releases like endorphins.
It
and
tricks your brain into thinking you're
thinking-
actually happy.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
sometimes I do that and I'm just like,
That's kind of a slay.
it's completely delusional and mental.
I like that for you.
You should try it too on your way to work.
I should, yeah. I really should. Okay, anyway, listen to the Ariana Grande album, Be a Homewrecker,
Don't be a homewrecker.
Don't be a homewrecker, and join a throuple.
Yes. And watch HGTV. Get some inspiration.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay, love you girls.
Love you. See you next Tuesday.
Bye-bye.
Mwah, mwah.